Good morning everyone. I am Siddhi Kothaude, a student of TYBSc Mathematics. Today, I am going to present one of the most beautiful and fundamental result in metric spaces, that is the Hein-Borel theorem. But before we reach the theorem, we will build up the background step by step. So, this is what we are going to see in today's presentation. We will begin with some prerequisites that include some key definitions like open and closed sets, bounded sets, and compact metric space. Then we will look at few important lemmas, which are small but powerful results that lead up to the main theorem. And finally, we will state and understand the proof of Hein-Borel theorem. Okay, so let's start with the first definition, that is open set. Before I define it, can you recall that Before I define it, can you recall that when we say that a set is open? Yes, a set is open if around every point inside U, we can draw a small neighborhood that still lies entirely inside the set. Now, look at the diagram here. If you give me point X, then can I choose some radius R such that if I draw open ball around X, that will again lie inside this set? The answer is yes. But can I define it for every point in this set? And if I am able to draw open ball around every point which will again lie inside the set, then we say that a set is open. So mathematically speaking, a set U subset of X is open if for every X belongs to U, there exists some radius such that open ball centered at X with radius R is contained in U. Then next is closed set. So there are many equivalent definitions in which you can define a closed set. Here I will say that a set is closed if its complement is open. Now look at this figure. What can you say about this set A? Whether it is closed or not. So let's check it. If you take complement of A and take any point in this complement set, then can you draw open ball around every point which will again lie inside this complement? So the answer is yes. And hence by definition, complement of A is open and therefore A is closed. Now look at set B here. What can you say about its complement? It will cover this remaining part and also these dotted points. So what can you say about its complement? If you notice, that if you draw open ball around this dotted portion, then some part of that open ball will come into B. Then that the complement set will not be open and hence B is not closed. Next we have is bounded set. So what comes to your mind when I said that the set is bounded? You can say that there is some fixed distance limit beyond which the set doesn't go. That means the set A subset of X is bounded if there exists X belongs to X with some radius such that A is contained in BXR. And the next is compact set. So what does it mean? The idea is a set is compact if every open cover has a finite subcover. That means no matter how many open sets you use to cover it, you always reduce it to finitely many and still cover that set. So that's all the definitions we are required. Now let's move on to the first lemma. It says that any compact subset of a metric space is bounded. That means if a set is compact, boundedness will follow. So let's go through the proof. So suppose that x comma d is a metric space. Then we will start with a k subset of x which is compact and we have to prove that it is bounded. So what we are going to do is pick any arbitrary point x naught which belongs to x. Then for each natural number n, consider the open ball un which is centered at x naught with radius n. And here notice that if I is less than j, then ui is contained in uj. That means these open balls are nested and are growing larger and larger. So now we claim that UN is a open cover of K. So how to do this? Then take any point x belongs to x. Can you recall the Archimedean property of real numbers? Yes. By that property, there exists n belongs to n such that distance between x and x naught is less than n. That means x belongs to un, and therefore x is contained in union of un, or in particular you can say that k is contained in union of n belongs to n un. Now what we know about k? K is compact, and by definition of compact set, it will admit a finite subcover. So let's say that finite subcover is un1, un2 up to un3 for k. Now let n is equal to maximum of all these radius ni. Then the largest open ball un will be b x naught, centered at x naught will and radius capital N. That means k is contained in union of all unis. But what is this? This is nothing but the u capital N, and that is k is contained in bx naught comma n. That is the definition of bounded set, and hence we say that the set is bounded. Okay, so the that proves the result that any compact subset of a metric space is bounded. Now, what do you think about its converse? Is it true or not? So let's keep it as a thinking exercise. So far we know compact sets are bounded. Now we will show that they are also closed. So what does it mean to prove that a set is closed? It is often easier to prove that the complement is open. So here what we will do, instead of proving K is closed, we will prove that complement of K is open. So suppose x comma d is a metric space and k subset of x be compact. We are going to prove complement of k in x is open. So suppose z belongs to x minus k is given. That means z is outside the k and x belongs to k be any point. So x is not equal to z, and hence there exist open balls. One is centered at x and another is centered at z with radius rx and del x respectively, such that their intersection is empty. Why? Can anyone recall this property? Why the intersection of these two sets empty? Okay. So this collection of all open balls centered at x with radius rx will be an open cover of K. Now answer to this why is Hausdorff property. It says that given two distinct points xy belongs to x, there exists some radius such that open balls around that radius and their intersection will be always empty. Now since K is compact, so we can extract a finite subcover. Let's say that finite subcover is Bi with radius Rxi and centered at xi. Now let us denote it by Vi, which is open ball centered at Z with radius Rxi and the corresponding open ball centered at Z. Let's say that this V is nothing but intersection of all Vi's, which is an open set containing Z. Now we claim that V is subset of x minus k. So suppose that x belongs to k intersection B. And since Bi forms an open cover of k, x belongs to Bi for some I varies from 1 to n. Now x belongs to Bi intersection B. But by previous result, we have Bi intersection B is contained in Bi intersection Vi, which is empty. So it is a contradiction that x belongs to k intersection B. And this proves our claim that any z belongs to x minus k lies in an open set V whose intersection with k is empty. And that is, any such z is an interior point of x minus k. Or in other words, you can say that x minus k is open. That means k is closed in x. Now, the next result is a closed subset of a compact metric space is compact. That means if you give me any compact set and choose any closed subset of that, then it will again follow the property of compactness. So let's check it why. So suppose that x comma d is a metric space and f be a closed subset of x. So since it is a closed subset and we have a compact set, so u alpha be an open cover of f. That means f is contained in union of u alpha that and u alpha is open in x. Now since f is closed in x, the complement of f will be open. Now consider the collection C, which is the collection of all u alpha where alpha belongs to A with union x minus f. Now this is an open cover of K. Why? Because K is equal to f union K minus f, and which is again contained in union of u alpha with union x minus f. And since K is compact, there exists a finite subcover. That is, K is contained in union of u alpha n with union x minus f. Now observe that f intersection x minus f is empty. That means the finite subcover that covers f is contained in union of u alpha n. This shows that every open cover of f has a finite subcover. That means f is compact. So any closed subset of a compact metric space is again compact. Now here comes the theorem, Hein-Borel theorem, that says that a subset K subset of Rn is compact if and only if K is closed and bounded. So here are two parts, if and only if. So firstly what we will assume, K is compact and we are going to prove it is closed and bounded. And after that we will assume K is closed and bounded and we are going to prove it is compact. So let's see the proof. Suppose that K is a compact subset of Rn. Then by previous lemmas, we can say that it is closed and bounded in Rn. Now conversely, suppose K is subset of Rn which is closed and bounded. Now we have to prove that it is compact. So since K is bounded, we can say that K is contained in open ball centered at origin with radius r for some radius. Now here is the idea of proof, what we are going to do. So let Q denote the n-dimensional cube in Rn, and then K is contained in open ball centered at origin with radius r, that is again contained in Q. So for if x is equal to x1 to xn belongs to B0r, then we can say that square root of summation xi square is less than r, so that mod of xi is less than r for I varies from 1 to n. And if we show that Q is compact, then K, which is a closed subset of Q, it will be again compact by lemma 3. So we are going to prove that Q is compact. But what we are going to do, the result is in Rn, but firstly we will prove it in R2. Then similarly, you can prove it in Rn. So suppose that S is a subset of R2, which is closed and bounded. Now S is contained in minus r comma r cross minus r to r for some radius. And we have to prove that S is compact. So from this figure, you can say that, but before that assume that S is not compact. Then there exists open cover Ui of S with no finite subcover because S is not compact. Then there exists some open cover which does not have a finite subcover. Now by previous diagram, we can divide the square into 4 smaller squares by joining midpoint of opposite sides as like this. Then one of these 4 smaller squares call it S1 does not admit a finite subcover from Ui. Otherwise, we would have a finite subcover for S. So what we will do, repeat this subdivision and selection process recursively. That means for each n, subdivide Sn into 4 smaller squares and pick one, Sn plus 1, that also does not admit a finite subcover. Now note that the side length of that Sn is r upon 2 raised to n minus 1. And the bottom left vertex of each Sn is an comma cn with the monotone sequence n minus 1 less equal n and cn minus 1 less equal cn. Now what do we know about monotone sequence which are bounded? Yes, they are convergent. So they converge to limit a and c respectively. And hence as n tends to infinity, an and cn will converge to a comma c. And because S is closed, A comma C belongs to S. Therefore, there exists some UI naught in the open cover such that A comma C belongs to UI naught. Then, since UI is open, there exists some radius such that open ball centered at A comma C with radius R is again contained in UI naught. What does that mean? Choose n such that diameter of Sn which is equal to r upon 2 raised to n minus 1 into root 2 which is less than r by 2. And then for any xy belongs to Sn, by triangle inequality, it follows that distance of AC, comma xy is less than equal to distance of AC, comma an cn plus distance of n, comma cn, comma x, comma y. But this distance is less than r by 2 and this distance is less than r by 2 and this also r by 2. Therefore, r by 2 plus r by 2 which is equal to r. Which implies that Sn is contained in open ball centered at x, c with radius r, which is again contained in UI naught. This means that net subcover for Sn. But what we had assumed in the previous that Sn is not compact. So this contradicts the choice of Sn. Therefore, S is not compact is false and hence S is compact. And that proves the Hein-Borel theorem. That's it. If you have any questions, you can ask. Thank you.